and welcome to another episode of 8-Bit Keys. So recently I was visiting my friend Brandon, who has a very large collection of vintage professional keyboards, and out of the corner of my eye I saw this. Now I thought it was a toy keyboard at first because it definitely has that shape and appearance to it, but actually this is a professional keyboard. It's a real analog synthesizer. So here's a close-up of this thing. This was produced in 1982, and the controls are ridiculously simple, but I'm not going to have time to demonstrate every one of them. I will mention that it has a Pro-style output for the headphones and the line output. However, inserting anything into either of these jacks will disable the internal speaker, which is weird. I would have expected that with the headphone jack, but not the line out. Now, at first I was baffled by some of the design. For example, I did notice it has these little holes here, and I found out these are actually for straps. And the reason that the pitch bend and modulation wheel are there is because this is designed to be strapped on a stage like this, and that way you can access the different wheels. Also, the line output ports are on the side, which would make sense because if you were holding it like this, strapped on, then it would come out kind of like a guitar. So this is definitely meant to be played on stage. So let's power it on and see what we can do with it. Let's play with the different waveforms. This is triangle, then sawtooth, then square wave, and then pulse wave. This switch essentially changes octaves, giving the keyboard a wide range of notes to play. What I find interesting is that if you use the square wave with no modulation and no envelope, it sounds exactly like a PC speaker from the old MS-DOS games. Okay, so let's add some decay to the sound, and you can see how that affects it. Okay, let's play with the pulse wave and try modulating it some. So I wanted to put together a little multi-track recording for you so you could hear, what you might be able to do with a keyboard like this. But there's no real good way to make any drums on this keyboard. So I also borrowed my friend Brandon's Yamaha drum machine. Now this is from the same time period and does kind of match the keyboard. And let me show you a little bit about this thing. Alright, so this drum machine is about as basic as I have ever seen. You can change the sounds of some of the instruments, or the volume of certain instruments. And you can have it play from some preset rhythms, and that's honestly about it. I think the sounds are all produced with analog circuitry. There are no PCM samples here. Alright, so the song you're about to hear was actually not composed by me. It was actually composed by Anders Jensen, who does a lot of the music for my channel. But he actually composed this upon my request as a theme music for the upcoming game that I'm producing called Planet X2. So eventually you're going to hear the same music coming out of a Commodore 64, but for the moment you can hear it coming out of this Yamaha. So let's take this thing apart and see what secrets it hides. There are just 6 screws on the back. So this is technically the back side of the board, but one thing that jumps out at me is how they labeled everything on here. It's almost like they were inviting modders and hackers to come in here and change things, which is pretty cool. So let's take out the board and look at the top. There's not a lot here either other than analog components and this one large IC, but I haven't been able to find any information on this chip. Well guys, as always, we've reached the end. I hope you found it interesting and stick around for more content.